Look at that. It's even working just fine. So something, I was going to do this kind of privately because once in a while I'll have someone ask, like, how do you bring so much shit with you when you fly? I definitely think I carry too much shit, but it's a system that's kind of worked out over time. It's kind of easy to show up and go flying and almost always think, well, I just need my headset, right? Awesome. You can get away with that if you're just doing like small puddle jumping or hanging out around the airport, doing a couple laps. I think most guys do that and kind of don't really consider much till they go cross country and then they kind of rebuild the setup. One of the things I really hate in life, it's like a minor pet peeve, but I hate having to rearrange my system depending on if I'm doing something. I literally have a bag just for TSA. So if I'm taking a TSA flight, I have everything done. I don't have to worry about knives or guns or bullets or anything buried in there. I like having just everything done. I don't like spending time rearranging or finding stuff. So I try to duplicate as many systems as I can. So like writing utensils, power, cables. I literally have cables like each one of my cars. I have fully routed cable stuff. I have RAM mounts. I don't know. I just don't have patience that way, you know? So this is kind of my flying kit. I say it's my general aviation baseline kit. I don't necessarily take it with me in the air all the time. A lot of times if I'm flying something that can't really carry that much crap, most LSAs, honestly, you just have 2 little seats and you have a little shelf behind you. And most of the time, the owner has already packed it full of like 14 quarts of oil. Even when it doesn't use that much oil, he just decides it would be a great place to put a phone book-sized reprint of the owner's manual and just tons of oil. And it's almost always like half screwed on and it's everywhere. But I'm going to try to gallop through this and just kind of show you some of the stuff. It seems really basic. I don't know, like to me, I would think, why would you need to do this? But at this point, I have enough experience where I've kind of gotten my stuff squared away. So I don't have too many things that I hate or that have failed. Everything that's broken or been shitty has already been tossed out. The only thing I can really think of that I truly despise would be this charger. It has like 2 little USB ports. It actually has pretty good output. I'm able to charge like a 2 volt or two 5 volt USB outputs. Really cool. Only problem is the pins sheared off in one of these like right off the bat. And, you know, they're picky. I don't know. I think solar charging is kind of there. I wouldn't trust it just yet. So this is something that's been on my list to redo, but in the end, it's easier just to rely on batteries. So I try to kind of minimize discomfort when I'm flying. It seems like a non-issue, especially if you're alone. It's the small stuff like your eyes, like I have contacts, like not being able to see is kind of a big deal when you're in the air. Having comfort, that's not too loud. I tried to shut that off, but I can't. Just like eye drops are a small thing and they can make or break an entire trip for you. Little bits of discomfort can add up and be way too distracting. You wouldn't think it would be a big deal until it's like mental RAM. You don't want to waste too much on stuff. So I try to do stuff that keeps it comfy, that keeps it localized, and that keeps it organized. I want everything around me to be within arm's reach and within probably 20 seconds of being able to get it. And that's kind of why you see this case. So I guess I'll just show you the main part so far. This is a Rush 24-liter pack. And you can tell it's like totally full up with stuff. Now, it may not make a lot of sense to you when you see, I'm sure it looks stupid as all get out. Each one of these pouches it's kind of easier to feel your way. The idea is that I can buckle this in the passenger seat behind me if it's empty and reach behind me and understand just from muscle memory what's what. So if it, let's say you're flying and it turns dark, you go, oh crap, I don't have my headlamp. I can reach back behind me and go, oh yeah, it's that top right, feel, unzip, cool. All right, what did I need? Did I need my standalone light? Oh, okay, well I got that's a Olight S20. Would I do that light? Would I do my headlamp? I'd have, so we'll go module by module, but none of these pouches are really all that good. I have had pretty good luck with cheaper pouches. The bag itself, I tried to cheap out. I got like a no-name, I think it was Crazy Ant brand or something. Something weird, like it didn't even last a year. It started bursting at the seams and stuff. So 511, pretty reliable. I like it. I've had my Rush, I think it was the 24 too. I've had my Rush pack for, 8 years now? And this thing, I mean, it's been beaten up a little bit. You can see some mold that's grown on and stuff, but honestly, it's held up very well. So I've been really impressed by that. I don't really like messenger bags, though, for flying. You can't pack them as easily. It depends, like, if you have to walk a ways, it's kind of, you don't want tons of weight in them. And this is easiest to integrate my headset. I just have the headset kind of glommed onto the outside there. So I just go, see, I try to standardize batteries. I don't really like these Coast ones. You'll see them a lot because they come in like 3-packs at Costco for, I think, $18 or some crazy price. They use AAA batteries. They tend to go through them pretty quick. That's my downside, and I cannot find a pair of rechargeables that works in these. I can get like 40 minutes tops out of them, and I got sick of trying. So they're kind of a battery sink. They do give you the performance is fine. They give you the cool red LED if you want to operate. Honestly, I don't know many guys. It also has green. What do you do with green? A lot of guys don't really do red light at night, and it may drive you kind of crazy sometimes. Most of the time, it's just not worth the trouble. I know your eyes will get used to it and all, but unless you're about to be landing in an unlit area, I don't know. It depends entirely on where you're operating. If you're out in the bush or you're going somewhere and you're about the only guy around, yeah, it can be really important to preserve your night vision. Most of the time, you're going to be around the city, flying around lights and all that stuff if you're in most GA stuff, so whatever. It seems like I'm always flying with someone who sits there, you get it all set up, and you're nice, and you're perfectly adjusted, and it's that nice, cool time of night, and then he goes, oh, I think someone texted me, and he turns it on max brightness, and then your eyes are burned out. Really dumb. I do have 18650s. These are the Olight batteries. Honestly, I don't know if I would even buy these separate. When you do pretty big Olight orders, they tend to give you like freebies, and honestly, when I go over to Nutton's place and see what he has from, I don't know how much he spent with them. Like the last buy, they gave him the copper one, like the copper S2R. Just, he always has so much stuff from them, and I can't even imagine how that, because they do like freebies. If you do 150, then 300, then 400. I'm like, dude, he got everything under the sun. I normally have, it's my thing right now. Normally I'll have these, and then I have whatever I additionally carry in my EDC. Like this one's the titanium S2R. Love these. Olight we use for a lot of stuff, and it works. A lot of times people say, oh, but there are other brands. Of course there are other brands. You can't take any of our endorsements as a sampling of everything under the sun. Personally, I would love to support Surefire more. I don't like them. I don't mind them. I've had bad luck with their stuff. Like my M600, I've had to replace the bolt twice. My E2 Defender, granted, I think the older stuff with incandescence, really picky about rechargeables, but ideally I can get my light squared. I want to get one of the Puron headphone lamp or headlamps and just do away with AAAs. I want to go pure 18650s and AA's for my audio stuff. Just too bad. I want minimum battery types. I want everything common. I want to pare it down. So that's what I'm working on now. So this one's light. On the outside, I have my AA batteries. AA's are in use for my headsets and generally everyone else's headsets. Side, earplugs. I always keep earplugs just to have them, and really you do well to have them anywhere, quickly accessible. It seems like every time you're out there doing a pre-flight in the early morning, someone will boot up their turbines right next to you and blow your eardrums out. BD alcohol swabs. I've plugged these before. I love them. They use pretty good stuff, and they're like a good thick swab. They're great for cleaning. Don't use them on anything unless you know that it's not going to rub the paint off. They undo like permanent stuff. So if you write in Sharpie, they'll get rid of it pretty quick. And you don't want to ruin some nice rubberized coating on a dash. They are good for switches though. You know, you'll notice like some of these, this is a dump pouch, which I really like. You can fold it up and then do it. Otherwise, it's like my garbage can. The amount of times, you know, someone will have like wrappers, they have a bottle or something, then they throw it, and then you forget it and you leave it. Or you look under when you pre-flight and someone has like a bunch of used Kleenex under the seat. It's just gross. People are disgusting filth monkeys. I can't handle it. So I also love these. You can use any one of these types, but I have Dawn detergent, best detergent on earth. Have that, and then like a dirty rag to dry. I'll usually have a microfiber or two in there too if you want to use it on the screen. I like my screens being clean. I like my hands clean. I like my controls clean. I like my switches clean. And it's gross when you see that like dirt halo around like lights, and people are gross. And the really bad thing is when you're flying, people tend to do a pre-flight and they're like rubbing rub the plane down, rub the, making sure all the things are straight on it, and you jam your hands in the elevator. You're just constantly getting grease on it, and then you end up grabbing your fuel tester. Oh, I got mine here. You'll have your fuel tester. You have it in there. You spray a bunch of gas all over your hands. Then you have leaded gasoline all. It's gross, and you're sitting there. It's just disgusting. Okay, you wash your hands. It's helpful if you have like a bottle. Like I know one dude just has a couple water jugs in his little box in the tea hanger, so you can kind of wash your hands. But usually being able to clean everything else is kind of nice. I don't know if I would really carry this that often. I only do this when I know I'm going to be needing it for something. Definitely do check your gas, because I've had 3 times now where people have botched it somehow and stuff starts dying on you, and it's not a fun thing to deal with. My main pocket in here, I have stuff like contacts. I like having an extra box with me. I'm on the road. That one bound together. Nothing too out of it, like eardrops, yay. Spare headphones. I like having, these are the Adidas CX680s. These are pretty good. They lock in. I like having these just in case you're on the road and you have something to listen to, or generally I'll have the Ipod headphones, the old school Apple ones. I like them for a microphone thing. And for some reason, when you have black headbuds in, people don't, like, they'll assume you're listening to music, but if it's the white headphones, they go, oh, he's on the phone. And it's kind of nice when you put those in, then you don't have to talk to people. So if you're stuck with somebody you don't really know and you don't want to hang out with them, like, hey, come drinking with us. You're like, I'm on the phone with someone important, and then you can disappear. One of those comfort things that I think is really important, like I grabbed these, the carded, stay awake, 200 milligrams caffeine. I throw these in all my packs and everything. I think it's a safety issue when you're flying around and you're single pilot and you're tired and you're falling asleep. It's nice to be able to preempt that. Same with like Advil, Tylenol. Usually those will be my main ones. Sometimes Loperamide, like if you got the shits and you want to avoid that. Also, what's the other one? Oh, fiber. Like if you're spending day after day flying and you're not moving at all, there's a number. It's like building Adobe and you're calling. It's all about just keeping your machine cozy. Listerine stuff. Chargers, honestly, I would think any car charger is going to be something you use and toss. You'll get a couple months out of them, and then you'll have to buy new sets. That just seems to be the way of pretty much everything in the power charger game. That's mostly it in there. That's like toothbrush, retainer, any of that stuff. It's always good to be able to take care of teeth. Main one. This is generally my flip, like gum. I'll put whatever I'm working, like my phone will sometimes go in here if I want to get it out of my pocket. Flags, like little things if you have maps or you have certain charts you're trying to keep track of. Helmet cam. Contours supposedly are gone. I actually like these pretty well. You could like rotate it. This was a pretty cool one. I think they brought the drift cam back. I used to use that as my go-to helmet cam and loved it, but it broke. And I think I broke 2 or 3 just dropping them. They're like $100. They're okay. Honestly, most of the footage you'll see in here, if it's swiveling around, it's from just jamming it onto my little headset. You'll see the mount in a bit. That to the side. Little carabiners. I love little carabiners and stuff. It helps you see it. One of the things you kind of notice too, like you see on here, the problem with jamming bags under seats and rounds and throwing them in little cubbies in the tail, you tend to lose track of stuff when it's dark. That's why I usually use like light cases on my iPads, because it soaks up less heat and it's more visible. So when you cram it between the seats, you don't forget about it nearly as easily. It's just easier. So even if it's a little flamboyant, you can see it and you won't lose it. Normally I have this tacked onto the exterior, but it's a FTA 550, 770, something like that. I have it in my list. I'm going to post my little list of 2 brings. Yeah, FTA 550 Lima is what it is. This one actually has the plugs, so you can use your headset too. Pretty handy. It's nice having an aviation radio. It saves you a little bit of money if you're still renting. That way you can do your weather and write down the ATIS before you even turn it on. Pretty cool. Not waiting around, and it lets you, it's just a little shortcut thing. And if you ever forget to pre-flight and you don't notice that you're running off battery power for a while, and you end up losing all of your power before you get back, it's kind of nice being able to just pretend everything's ops norm. Pretty cool. This one also does VORs, So if you get these, I don't know if it does ILS. I kind of doubt it. I would trust it, but it's more fun than anything. But it is cool. It has like a dot matrix screen and everything. But they're pretty affordable. This one uses AA batteries. See? Battery commonality is pretty cool. You can get a $90 Li-ion battery thing, which would be kind of nice, but being able to change it out in the air is pretty cool. I mean, this thing burns through them so fast. That's not optimal, but whatever. I like having a backup. This pouch is usually electronic, so stuff in here. Like I have my pocket cams, so if I'm around people or strangers, or pretty much anytime I leave the house these days, I'll have a camera running, that way I can see. If you ever try to take them through TSA, you will generally think it's a knife of some sort. For some reason, this clip looks really knifey, and they think it's like an auto knife, I guess. This is steel on the back of this one, Bulblov. Pretty much all these that I've seen so far have been no-name Chinese brands, and when you get them, it's just like a little pamphlet that you open up, and you have to edit a text document for the preferences. These both suck. I don't know of any that are good yet. I would love one that's even smaller that could fit in the 511 polo loops, but no such luck yet. So I'm still waiting for the technology to improve. These ones are each about 30 bucks though. They're okay. As long as it has something there and it's recording and it has long enough battery life, then if something goes wrong, you can always have, hopefully, exonerating footage of yourself. If not, you're just kind of screwed. Just pens, highlighters, pencils. I usually use my Kneeboard. I like the Graph Gear mechanical pencil. It's the best one. Then this one is usually cleaning. This one has like my spritz bottle with lens cleaner, which is usually just alcohol diluted a little bit with microfiber. Helps keep your phone, your tablets clean, all that stuff. It's just gross when you're looking at it and you constantly see smudges and all. Let's see, yeah, cleaner. Nothing really funky there. Have some disposable gloves. If you're going to be getting real nasty, if you're doing an oil change before heading out, it's kind of nice being able to do that. All right, last one. Oh yeah. So I have a Lightspeed Zulu 2 attached. You can tell I just kind of clipped it on two sides there. I love the Zulus. I think they're the best. I used an A20 for a while, and honestly, the thing that pushed me over to the Lightspeed was the fact that it sounded better. So when you're rocking out, it's just got better audio. I've had a Bose forever that I used to, an older Bose X, and when I took it out just now, I noticed that the cup had snapped off. So that's real Bose quality right there, I'll tell you what. Pretty cool, huh? I'm sure I can get it fixed or something, but whatever. I don't really use this at all. I have my old school Matchbox 9-volt music adapter, so you can just plug in normal audio. Pretty funny. Back when that was like a crazy idea. I don't know how people live without it, though. Like flying in complete silence is almost puts you to sleep sometimes. Other thing, once in a while, like if I'm flying somewhere and I'm not familiar with it, I do have a little pair of Vortex binocs. You could probably do it with a monocular too. It's kind of helpful depending on your angle and depending on how you're coming in. It's not unusual to be totally lost when you sit there trying to find a airstrip. It's one thing to see it on your nav and you go, okay, I know it's in front of me about 3 miles. 2 miles? Okay, now I should be right on top of you. You can see it. But sometimes the angle and the trees, it's easy to miss it. So it is kind of cool if you have a co-pilot to go start checking it out. Oh, look at there. Yeah, see? And then you can pick out landmarks and weave your way in. I sworn there was something else I forgot. Zulu. Might as well show it off. I like the Zulu case. I have that on there. That way I can tell it's mine because a lot of people have the same equipment and you'll put it in and not pay attention. I have a couple extra audio cables and extra batteries in here. So I usually have what? Extra camera cable, 2 extra audio ones so I can plug in. I don't really do direct to Bluetooth to whatever my thing is. I prefer having a manual thing. Like I have a music player that I usually use, a FIIO. But other than that, I guess I probably need some more things on these. You can tell they've had some better days. Finally gone. Well, I like having a couple extras of these. I do have this one like rubber banded in place, but it blows my mind how often people completely lose their little windsock. This is the, oh, you can see a little thingy on there. So sometimes if I want to get footage of something, it just uses this little mount and You can see it in some of the videos. Works out pretty well. So yeah, if I had to choose Zulus, if you use A20s, I'm sure it's not even that big of a deal. They're all kind of the same thing. You get pretty good battery life out of these, though. I remember that for my bows. I felt like I had to change them out about every probably 12 hours, it felt like. 8 to 12 hours. I'd maybe get 2 days out of it, so whatever. All right, main pockets. Main pocket, I have primary, has a bunch of cables. So I have micro USB, USB-C, and lightning. I go heavier on lightning cables. I've been using the Amazon ones for a long time. Supposedly you can get like a top of the line Amazon Basics cable and it has a like unlimited warranty or something. These ones I think are the second tier and pretty sure you get like a year warranty. Sometimes you can get it, sometimes you can't. I don't know. Usually this will wear off, and I even know some guys that have zip tied that trying to protect it. All that does is accelerate your wear and then it rips it, and it just, cables are inexpendable. You have them, you use them, you get rid of them. The thing that bugs me, though, is how guys will invariably never have cables, never have batteries, never have anything. So they show up with a half-dead phone and an iPad mini. And go, all right, let's go. And then 20 minutes in, oh, my phone's dead. We have to turn around. Huh? Hence the cables. So I normally have to plan ahead, not just for me, but for them, too. Glasses. Yeah, I do have old man glasses. I wish I had, like, goggles that were prescription to have unlimited field of view. I hate like trendy ones where they're small and you have to get tunnel vision. Smaller battery. This is like a cheap Walmart one I got for like $3, but I have cases that have Velcro to the back since, heaven forbid, they give us removable phone batteries. ESS crossbows, I think, are kind of my favorites. You can get pretty much anything these days that's low profile. You can tell I have another spare audio cable in this one. See how the temples are nice and skinny? You have temples, then you have this thing so you can strap them into place, which is pretty cool because then you can tilt them up and put them somewhere. Just pretty handy. The lenses are easy enough to swap. You can have tinted, light, clear, all that stuff. I generally tend to wear sunglasses and sunscreen anytime I fly. Seems like a lot of the older guys have like insane wrinkles everywhere and their face looks like a catcher's mitt because they've been sitting there staring out directly into the sun for years. Glasses, let's see this one, more cables. This is the audio cable to connect to a GoPro. My GoPros, I still kind of use this one the most. The garbage Hero 4 with the cracked screen. Most of the footage you're seeing came off of this one. It's a mature system for me. I have a mount, I have a cable, I have everything set up. I can go to the newer one. I did get a new one of these, but I need an input for the audio so you could hear ATC off of that. And I don't even use any of the footage from my things. In the beginning, it started out as a training thing. So you can watch after the fact and see what you did. And, you know, post-flight better. But it's kind of cool to be able to use it. Stuff. Oh, yeah, mounts. Usually I'll use RAM mounts. This is like the iPad mount that has not lasted very well. The plastic version of theirs cracked. The better ones are the X. Those I pretty much use for everything these days. X mounts pretty much rule. Another... I could have sworn I had my... Like it there. No, E6B I usually don't carry around that much. I don't like it. Let's see. There you go. One of the things, so when I'm doing music, once in a while I have one of the arm pockets, you know, like you're running, depending on the airframe I'm in. I know I have footage of like how cramped some of these are, but if you're in something small, you don't have space to put stuff in, and when you have the belt going across, it can get in the way of chest pockets on your left side or right side, depending on which side you're sitting on. And your waist will be bent in some of the reclined ones. So it kind of eliminates some of your carry pockets. You end up relying on, like, if you have cargo shorts or cargo pants on, you're using those pockets. But if you're reclined back, like some of them I have like 20, 30 degree lean back, you'll sit there and anything you open will end up falling all out into the interior, which is a pain. So you kind of have to rethink your system of whatever I need for this flight needs to either be right behind me in a way that I can get without stretching around or moving, or needs to be right on top of me, in which case I'll usually bring one of these along. You can see my cable hooked up. That way your phone can just slip in there. You have it on your arm and then slips. It's like a variable pocket. I'm sure it looks stupid as hell, but who cares? I love using the FIIO stuff. This is the FIIO A3 amp. I use that all the time. For my, I don't know. I like stuff sounding good. Alright, next one. You can see I have the little i3T light on there, just in case I'm about to check into this stuff and check. I haven't lost one from the Molly stuff just yet, so it's been working out alright. Stratus, yep. Now that everything on, even call it, now that ADSB is normal for everywhere, I have my name tags on this. It's not as necessary, still necessary for me though. I like being able to check all my ADSB stuff and watch other traffic in the air. Pretty handy. Kneeboard, I do like, I think it's the F16 or something like that. You can tell where I've got like my notes from my last one. I have all that stuff. I like doing, you can tell I even did an aftermarket thing. So I always have like some extra cards, extra stuff, high visibility cards if you ever need to write notes. Have some extra gum in the little pamphlet, extra batteries, whatever's handiest for you. You kind of develop your own system what you like. I do have one pen, but that's my favorite, the Graph Gear pencil, which I have now had like 6 people stealing, which is why I paint a little thing on it so I know it's mine. I like pencils. I've gravitated towards them over time because it's easier to write and it's less dirty. So if you have to do something in the middle of writing, you can reach out and do it and you don't have to worry about marking stuff up. Especially if you're flying someone else's very ritzy plane, you don't want to be the one to mess it up. So this one's been pretty good. Yeah, Flyboys, pretty sure it's yes. I'll put a link in there. I do these. Kind of a nerd. I like having a pre-filled, depending on the field. So it has like the info for that airport already. If I know I'm going to be flying out of there once in a while. It's kind of a lazy thing, but it helps provide a little bit of the same structure. I know guys will have like a notebook and they'll write and expect their own habits to kind of make up for that, but I don't know. I need to do like a fuel thing. Normally have it in that little box, but whatever. Battery-wise, I think this is a Jackery type. This is the only phone battery that's been able to last for years. I got this in like 2016, and it's still going strong. It hasn't bloated. It hasn't stretched. I don't know what on earth they made it out of, but it's been awesome. Other than that, it's mostly your run-of-the-mill stuff. If you're needing to run like an E6B, cool. You can have VFR maps, your normal maps, your notes. Sometimes you'll have something like these, which you can usually get for free. Other stuff, I guess you can't see my piss bottles. If you're going on a long one, get Nalgene bottles, but get them in either, I think the color spring green or like yellow. You do it that way, and then people can't tell it's pee. I mean, it's not the best thing, but you don't really have many options if you're going to be out there forever. Some of those planes these days, man, like the more I've done LSAs, they have insane legs. You can be getting like 38 miles a gallon, just noodling along all day. Guarantee your bladder's going to be smaller than you want it to be then. I think this is the app strap. Sometimes I'll use this depending on the thing. It all depends on the frame. Sometimes you can get away with using like an iPad mini on the yoke, and you're expecting the guy to have a yoke mount that works. Some things are like a joystick, in which case you can't fit any of your stuff in there. I usually use my giant iPad. I kind of, over time, gravitated towards either super big or super small. The normal size iPad was good. I definitely haven't broken it and tried to fix it and then broke it more. That would never happen. Why would you do that? It's almost like if you get impatient with the glass, you end up shattering it and then it costs more to replace it. I think that's about it. Yeah, battery bottles. I don't know. I do have a basic cooler bottle. I think this is a Takea. Yeah, 40 ounce. I think it's pretty cool. I mean, I like that it keeps everything cool. But honestly, what silicone? I use the super long silicone straws. I have like a rigid one in this one. But it just depends on where you're at. Because if you're flying around in the heat a lot of the summer, it's just killer. Like something I ended up actually liking. I got a pack of the fans. You know, the old school ones. And this is just if you're somewhere without fans. Like if you're in a hangar. Like let's say you're waiting for someone to show up and you're just sitting there in the heat. It's kind of nice being able to, I mean, it's kind of like a fidget spinner, but it is kind of nice. You laugh at first, and you laugh at how ridiculous, and you can pretend you're like a coquettish imperial courtesan, but you laugh till July, and then you realize, this is pretty nice. Nice and cool. It's lightweight. It packs really small. They're like $5 for a 10-pack or something, so I don't know. I do like it. Other than that, most of the stuff is going to be the same as you use EDC-wise and the rest of your life. Defensive, I generally don't use mace. I don't like it. I don't like the idea of going up and down and pressurizing it and kind of leaving it exposed. I don't know about you guys. I've had, what, 2 leakages now, which is just a real treat when you reach into your pocket and go, oh, why is it greasy? And you don't pay attention or maybe touch your eye. Next thing you know, you've OC'd yourself. Not very fun. Tasers are okay. Honestly, something to think about would be like a stun gun or something. I heard a horror story once of an instructor who went up with someone, and I guess the guy decided he wanted to end it all. So as they were coming into land for his intro flight, the guy just started trying to auger him into the ground, and the pilot had to, I think, stab him in the leg with their pen. I never got the whole story to it, but it sounded pretty spooky. So something to think about. Other than that, I usually just use my standard Glock 26 these days. I like the variability, being able to bring more or less ammo really easy. If I can get away with it and I know I'm going to be just chilling somewhere nice and small, I'll go like 938, something single stack 9, a little bit easier. Being able to take something like a G34 and an endo brace is pretty cool, but you have to think about where you're going. It's not that uncommon for people to be flying in the western states and end up in California and realize they have a bunch of not kosher equipment with them. So you kind of weigh some mobility. This is entirely separate from my crash kit where you have enough stuff to be able to survive, but that depends on the environment. Definitely if you're going into the winter, you're going to need like some pretty serious survival stuff. If you're like mountain flying up there, if you're going to be in the cities, maybe not that big of a deal, but something to think about. So hopefully that answers some questions. If we're going to be flying together, at least this gives you a heads up, and now you know you don't have to worry about batteries and cables because I'll have your back. Generally even have 2. I just like having enough stuff to charge my phone, my tablet, and the other guy's phone and tablet. That seems to be the most foolproof. Just plan. 2 is what? 2 is 1. 1 is none. Plan for everything to fail. Plan for it not to work, and then be pleasantly surprised when it actually does. Now, most of the time, this is going to be too heavy. This is, what, 20 pounds or something? You can see where I have my multi-tool on the front there. And I do have a seatbelt cutter. I don't know why. I own it. I probably will never use it, but it's nice thinking it's there. If I were flying a lot, I would probably want to keep this closer to me, or if I had my own plane, I would probably keep this with the straps themselves. I'd probably want it like somewhere where you can mentally think, oh, okay, time to cut. But who knows? Super Tool 3000, if I remember right. It's an okay multi-tool. 300. Pretty good. I don't really care. I haven't used this one that much. I do like the Swiss Tool Classic. I do want somewhere I can use the variable bits, but I do have one of these funky things. You can get one with a case. Portable scale. So if you're going with someone and you're trying to go full tanks, it's helpful being able to do your weight and balance and actually have it pretty accurate. I've found a lot of people underestimate their stuff. Like they'll pick it up and they go, oh, it's fine. It's just a bag. It should only weigh about 10 pounds. And you weigh it and it's 30, which hopefully doesn't make or break anything, but you'd be surprised. Sometimes it's pretty rough. Other than that, I think I must have taken my music player. I normally have a FIIO, I think, X1. For mine, whenever I'm going up with media, it's one of those things people don't think about. Because I've flown with people a lot. And you get up and you go, all right, cool. After like 30 miles away from town, suddenly they go, oh, crap. My phone doesn't work. You go, yeah, you don't have cell coverage in a lot of places. Go high enough and far enough, you got nothing. And they'll sit there going, oh, I was just going to be listening to Spotify. Don't know what you expect now, so you kind of have to plan ahead and save stuff locally. I prefer music players that either I'll be running like a Bluetooth module with a physical button, or the FIIO player, because then you have a button. And you can see on some of the footage I'll put in there, I'll have the player like either tucked under a leg somewhere, depending on the yoke system. But that way you can, without looking, without thinking, if you go, oh, I want to listen to a different song, you can slip your hand, press. I really hate when people do like, I'm going to use a touchscreen phone is my thing, and then they need to change it. It's way too distracting to suddenly, oh, okay, let me open, let me unlock, let me do the face, fingerprint, okay, cool. It's too much. The more under the radar you make it, the more you can get away with it. And my last check ride, I definitely didn't have my music playing anyways. I don't know why. Maybe it's like a security blanket thing. It makes it more enjoyable. And it makes it more stress-free. And I go, yeah, this is fun. I'm rocking out. This is quite enjoyable. I actually liked my last one. It was pretty cool. I was pretty sure we were going to go like all the way down into the ground because he was doing simulated like engine out. He's like, all right, let's just bring it on down. We're in the middle of nowhere, just lined up on this dirt road. And he's like, this is nice and flat. We ought to do it for real. I was like, yeah. I always assumed they're trying to mess with you somehow, you know, but I chickened out. I think, well, no, I guess it always seems closer to the ground than you are, but I felt like I was getting kind of ballsy with that. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna land someone else's plane and risk busting it up and smacking the gravel on it and having to pay for a repaint. That just seemed wasteful. So maybe I'll do some more flying. So it would be kind of fun to review some planes. I've flown some really funky stuff. And I'm surprised at how much variation has been coming out there. I'm seeing a lot of interest in light sports, and really there's some cool stuff in the category. The days of just being, you know, what was it, the Skycatcher, when that came out and everyone was, yeah, it's going to be the next big thing, and it disappeared almost immediately, because who doesn't want to pay like, what, 200 grand for a plane made in China? Or was it 160, 180, something insane like that? And just, I mean, I don't like Cessnas all that much either. I like them for training. Cessnas are great. See, this is stuff that we could talk about otherwise, though. I like low wing. If you're flying for fun, low wing. Something like a really light, low wing, low slung, awesome little thing. They're just funner. It's more enjoyable. It's more responsive. That should be it for now. I'm going to throw some links in there just because. Hopefully this answers some questions. If you have other ideas, let me know. Yeah, maybe we'll do some aviation stuff soon. See you around.